Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you had a good week and are ready to wind down into the weekend. Today is May 2nd, 2025, and this is your Friday planning video. Now, over the past few weeks, we spent a lot of time talking about building strong plans, about making sure your investments, your risk management, and your estate planning are all working together. But today, I want to talk about something that tends to throw people off the most: market volatility. Now, because let's face it, no matter how solid your plan is, no matter how much experience you have, when the market starts swinging, it feels unsettling, and that's perfectly normal. When you turn on the TV and see red flashing across the screen, when the headlines scream about the sell-offs and the corrections, it's easy to start wondering, should I be doing something different? It's just human nature. But it's also where a lot of people get themselves into trouble. So today I want to slow things down a little bit. Let's talk about how to navigate volatile markets, not with guesswork or gut reactions, but with a steady hand and a clear plan. Now, first off, it's important to remember that volatility is not a new phenomenon. It's not a sign that something's broken with the markets. In fact, if you look at history, short-term market swings are the norm, not the exception. Since World War II, the S&P 500 has experienced a pullback of at least 10% nearly every single year. And deeper drops, what we call bear markets, happen roughly every 5 to 6 years. Now, it's part of the rhythm. It's part of the deal when you invest for growth over time. The good news, in every single one of those cases, markets eventually recovered and went to reach new highs. Not always quickly, not always smoothly, but consistently. This is why when we build your financial plan, we build it with volatility in mind. We didn't assume the markets would go up in a straight line. We assumed that there would be turbulence, and we designed the plan to ride through it. Now, diversification is part of that. Having different types of investments, stocks, bonds, alternatives, they help smooth out the bumps. But even more important than diversification is perspective. When you're investing for long-term goals, retirement, legacy, financial independence, the day-to-day swings aren't what matter most. What matters is when you stay invested over time, whether you stay invested over time, so you capture the long-term trend. Let's use a quick example. Imagine you planted an oak tree in your backyard. You water it, you nurture it. You wouldn't go out the next day, look at it, and decide it's not growing fast enough, then dig it up. You know it needs seasons, it needs storms, it needs time. Your investments are the same way. There will be seasons where things feel dry or stormy or slow. But pulling up the roots every time you get nervous is the surest way to never see the growth you planted for. That's why during times like these, the most powerful moves you can make often look deceptively boring. Stay invested according to your plan. Rebalance when it makes sense. Focus on your goals, not the headlines. Keep your emotions out of your portfolio. This is where the real results happen. Not by predicting the next move, but by preparing properly and staying steady. Now, let's be realistic. It's not always easy to sit tight when things feel uncertain. That's why we revisit your goals. It's why we make sure your cash reserves are strong if you're close to needing money soon. It's why we segment your assets into short-term money, safe, long-term money growing. This isn't do nothing advice. It's do the right things at the right times advice. And sometimes that right thing is simply staying put when everyone else is running around in circles. A quick word on headlines. Now remember, the media's job isn't to help you invest successfully. It's to get your attention. And fear gets more clicks than calm. I've often mentioned that I find it telling that there are some producers at CNBC that used to work at ESPN. And you can imagine that just maybe when they get used to the color, where they get used to the use of the colorful words, phrases, headlines, and graphics. But this is not SportsCenter. This is about reaching your financial goals. When markets are volatile, you'll see a flood of extreme language: crash, collapse, panic. Rarely do you see a headline that says, markets behaving normally within historical range, stay the course. But that's often closer to the truth. And that's why having a real financial plan and sticking to it matters so much. It gives you a filter. It gives you something sturdier than the news cycle to anchor. So this weekend, if you're feeling any nervousness about the markets, I want you to ask yourself two questions. Number one, has my time horizon changed? And number two, have my goals changed? If the answer is no, then chances are your plan doesn't need to change either. We built it for times like these, and as always, if you want to talk through your plan, look at rebalancing opportunities, or just get some perspective on where you stand, I'm here and always am. That's what planning is for. Not to eliminate uncertainty. We will not avoid that, but to help you navigate that feeling with confidence. Take a deep breath. You deserve it. Also, by the way, when you get a moment, stop by the blog for this month that just went up on the website. I think you'll enjoy it. Have a great weekend and stay in touch.